even when I'm down. Got my head in the clouds and my feet on the ground. I got big dreams, gonna make them true. Yeah, we got big dreams here at the Genius Lab. Thank you for tuning in today. This is number 26 of the podcast based on my new book, Release Your Shit and Reclaim Your Power. Today we are going to talk about breaking the cycle. And this is really key because when you start to go through this process of releasing your shit, getting rid of the things that are holding you back, that are weighing you down, that are preventing you from realizing your greatness, what you realize is that you've created a lot of bad habits. And it's not necessarily your fault. I mean, sometimes we just fall into certain routines and, we just do. We just sometimes we just check out of awareness, and we go through life in a mundane state of zombiness. And it's really common. I mean, look at how people drive. They just pull over wherever. I was driving to somewhere the other day and this guy was splitting the lanes. And I'm like, dude, get in one lane or the other because I'm coming up behind you and I want to get past you and I'm not sure which lane to be in. But people are just unaware, and then he's talking on his phone, not even paying attention to where his fucking car's going. Drives me nuts. Anyway, enough of that. So as you go through the process, you start to change your life. The other thing is you've done certain things a certain way for a long time. Okay. So be nice to yourself. Things don't change overnight. And as much as we would like them to, or as much as I would like them to, when I was developing this book and the retreat, I realized I was pulling from decades of practice, training, workshops, coaching, and I started realizing how long it had been, how long it had taken to create all of this. And in one sense, it seems like my life has changed really quickly. But on the other hand, it's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of persistence. Remember that you have created a routine. Okay. You've created a way that you do things, a way of acting, a way of doing things. It's gotten you to where you are now. And now in order to go to the next level, to raise the bar, it's important to break the existing cycle and then replace your current habits with new ones. Okay? Your ways of thinking will gradually change, your way of doing things, the priorities that you have. As you start to get connected to things like your core values, your core beliefs, your mission, and you consciously are connecting to these things, everything changes. Okay, there's something about habits that's really important to know. And that is you can't just stop doing a behavior and expect your life to change, right? You've got to replace that energy. It's like there's an energy space. There's a frequency, okay, of what you're doing. It's like in music. If all of a sudden I stop doing something, you get crickets, right? But what we want to do is instead of that, we want to replace. We want to take a habit that doesn't serve us, that doesn't move us in our towards our desired outcome, and we want to create a new habit or behavior that leads us to that place. Okay. And there's 3 things to pay attention to. I learned these from this really cool Green Beret guy that I worked with for a little bit. And it was really fun because this was his thing. He has these 3 things that are really important, and I agree 100%, okay? The number 1 is you have routines. Okay. If you have routines, whether you're aware of them or not. Okay. So when I've talked to people, that come to me for self-empowerment training, and they're like, well, I don't have routines. I just, get up and do things. I said, think about it though. What time do you usually get up in the morning? Oh, well, I'm always up at 7 o'clock. That's just when I get up. And I said, okay, and what day do you go to the grocery store? Oh, I always go on Thursdays because then I have a fresh load of food for the weekend. When do you, so on and so forth. What are your nights out? Oh, well, I always go out on Thursday night and Friday night. Oh, interesting. And then Saturday I stay home and do my home stuff. Yeah, people have routines, okay? And a lot of times we just have to talk through them. But the thing that's most important is start paying attention to your routines, because one of the biggest things to shifting your life, to changing you, and moving from where you are to where you want to be is creating new routines. And it takes consciousness, and it takes discipline, and it takes effort. But most of all, it's just a little bit of awareness. It's really not that tough. It just takes persistence. The second thing that my friend talked about was that we have rituals, okay? We all have rituals. Maybe it's prayer and meditation. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's making your bed a certain way, organizing your desk so that it's just right for like how you want to move forward in the day, all the proper things in the proper place. Whenever I travel, I always say there's everything in it, a place for everything and everything in its place. So I have this wallet that goes in the inside pocket of my backpack that I travel with, and my passport goes in the left inside pocket of that device. And I always know where it is. And as soon as I get through security, I put it right back in the exact same place. I put my keys in everything, a place for everything and everything in its place. Then you never have to worry about forgetting things, and you create routines that support your desired outcome, that keep you organized. The third thing is rigor. And this is a fun part. When I listen to this Green Beret guy, and he talks about how, they trained and the intensity of their training and all that stuff. If you're going to do something, he says, do it with rigor. And I agree with him 100%. Rigor is the power, intensity, and absolute discipline by which you live. Okay? So when someone has rigor, they go after things with absolute certainty. Okay, there's no mamby-pamby stuff. I mean, they go after it. And the thing that's so awesome about that is it helps build enthusiasm. The enthusiasm and the rigor helps to inspire routines and organization. And then it helps you change. It helps with your discipline, and it helps you shift the old cycle into new patterns that lead you to your new desired outcomes. Okay, so this is really important. Yeah, I used to sleep in like till whenever I woke up. Right, it was just like I was an entrepreneur. I had a sales business, and I'd make however many calls I made whenever I made them, and it wasn't working very well, to be honest with you. And then when I got rigor, and I was really like, God dang it, I'm gonna get on this thing, and I'm gonna hit my numbers, and I'm gonna rock and roll. And I worked with vigor. All of a sudden, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. and exercising and getting my meditation done and visualization, and then I'm on the phone by 8, and and all of a sudden the shit started to change, and everything was different, and oh my God, it was awesome. So remember, the more power you carry, the more organization and routine you need to build into your life. Okay, I knew this guy who was a car dealer. And he was a partner in a very, very large Ford dealership. And he had an in basket and he had an out basket. And he looked at me one day and he said, "Nothing sits in my inbox for more than an hour. Nothing. That's just the way it goes." And I'm like, holy shit, man. This guy could roll through more paperwork because all the deals that had to be approved by him. So he was constantly getting this stream of paperwork. Now, if he did not have this level of discipline and this level of rigor, he would get buried in paperwork. Deals wouldn't get done, and it wouldn't work. And it would affect him and all of those around him. So what's really cool about when you're working with rigor, and then that rigor turns into discipline and organization, all of a sudden, everything changes in your life. So when you don't feel like doing something, first of all, you got to get organized and get a vision and get clear on your mission. Okay. And sometimes it helps to investigate your core values, your core beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the world around you? These are important things to deal with. And when you do, it helps you set a new framework for what you need to do to get where you want to go. Okay. So then it makes the discipline easy, because when you don't want to do things, because sometimes you just don't fucking feel like doing it. It's like, damn it, I'm just going to go have a beer. I don't want to do my podcast. So, but you made a commitment. I made a commitment to myself that I'm going to do the damn podcast. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do podcasts, and today's Friday. So do the damn podcast. So I just come down here and I finished my exercise a little bit ago. I watered all the plants, blah, blah, blah. Did everything on my list, and now it's podcast time. So I don't care if I want to go outside and hang out in the sun because the temperature is just perfect and it's going to be hotter than Hades today, and now would be a perfect time to be out in the yard doing stuff, other things. That's not the priority for today. That's the weekend. So the deal is, do what's in front of you. Respect yourself enough to discipline yourself. Okay? Discipline is a sign of self-respect. So cook on that one for a while. Okay? When I was writing the book, I had a workshop scheduled in Hawaii. And it was in 2 months. And I'm like, shit, I got to be completely ready. Okay. When I was writing the book, it was like 4 days into writing the book. And I'm like, shit, I got to have this thing done and printed in 2 months. So that required a tremendous amount of discipline. I had to really focus on, how the fuck I was going to get that done, because my last book took 7 years. So I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm in deep trouble. But the cool thing is, as I moved forward, as I implemented discipline, as I made myself write a certain amount per day. For me, it was chapters. I have a friend that he's like, I write 5,000 words a day. And I couldn't even know if I was doing 5,000 words a day. I don't even know what that looks like. But for me, it was, I'm going to get to this point in the process. And sometimes it was 2 chapters. Sometimes it was 5 chapters. Sometimes I was writing for 3 hours. Sometimes I was writing for 12 hours. So the thing I want you to think about before our next podcast is changing the cycle, breaking the old cycle and creating a new way of being, creating a place of discipline, of a place of ritual, a place of routine, a place of rigor. If you can't get excited about what it is that you have planned, plan something else, because it's never going to work if you can't do it with rigor. Okay? So think about what it is that you want to change. What are the cycles in your life that are not helping you? And what do you want them to transform from? You know where you are now. Where do you want to be? And what's it going to take to get there? Create a plan. Respect yourself enough to be disciplined. Create new routines, new rituals, and do them with rigor. And by all means, keep looking up.